ihsan, prihatin, penyayang, sedia berkorban. Haluan akan terus berbakti, haluan tiada henti mengabdi, haluan sentiasa berjuang, haluan jaya haluan. Haluan cergas, tangkas dan kreatif, jalin kehidupan yang penuh harmoni, berarti
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome to TV HALUAN. First of all, let's pray and thank unto our God Allah Subhanahu wa taala, who has been giving us mercies and blessing so we can gather tonight. Then may salawat and salam always be given to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us from darkness to brightness of Islam way of life. Tonight we will discuss about Rohingya history, and we will not discuss about refugees crisis. Inshallah, we will have another session to talk about the refugees. Our topic tonight, Rohingya, the Kingmaker, Arakan, and Burma. This is a topic in which we should all be interested because Rohingya is related with our society, although not all of us know about Arakan and how this territory ended up is an endless issue till to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker tonight, Mr. Fayaz Ahmad. Can you show? Yes, this is Mr. Fayaz Ahmad. He is a Rohingya refugee student living in Malaysia. He has studied diploma in business administration at International Islamic College and master in Islamic banking and finance at International Islamic University Malaysia. Assalamualaikum, Mr. Fayaz.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah. How about
Alhamdulillah. Fine. Okay.
I will start.
No, okay. Thank you for joining me tonight, inshallah.
Yes.
You want to start now? So I will give to you to elaborate our topic tonight, because some of us do not know what is Arakan.
Yeah.
So I think my first question, why we need to know about Rohingya?
Yes.
So please.
Yeah, it's a very good question. Why we should know about that, about the Rohingyas. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for inviting me for this wonderful program, and I'm very happy for granting me a chance to talk about the Rohingyas and to see you all. Before we go into detail about the Rohingya, I would like to present some information about the situation of Rohingya refugees in Malaysia, and I would like to tell you why we need to know about them. I think it's very important for us to know about Rohingyas, as these Rohingya people are already part of our society in Malaysia and already living in Malaysia for generations. There are more than 79 forcibly displaced people around the world, which equate 1% of world population. Thank you, Malaysia. Malaysia is hosting refugees and asylum seekers from more than 60 countries, which amount to nearly 180,000 people, out of which more than 150,000 refugees are from Myanmar. Rohingya are the vast majority and constitute roughly 55% of these refugees in Malaysia. There are more than 102,000 Rohingya refugees who are registered with UNHCR Malaysia, and thousands are still undocumented and waiting for UNHCR appointment. It is estimated that more than 150,000 Rohingyas are living in Malaysia for up to 4 generations without any legal status. Through UNHCR Malaysia, 1.73% of refugees in Malaysia were resettled to that country in 2017. 1.47% in 2018, 1.6% in 2019, and 0.54% in 2020. The highest resettlement rate in last 5 years is 1.73% in 2017. This means UNHCR Malaysia's average resettlement rate is 1.066%. If UNHCR Malaysia resettle all these 180,000 refugees in Malaysia at its highest rate, which is 1.73%, it will take more than 57 years to resettle all these refugees. In these 57 years, they will also have children and they will also have a growth in their numbers. So it will take more than 50 years, right? Therefore, whether we want it or not, unless major change has been applied in UNHCR resettlement program, this refugee will be in our society with us for decades, more than 5 decades, right? More than 57 years. That is why we need to know about these Rohingya refugees so that we can better understand about them and so that we can live together with them. So that is why a little info about why we need to know them, because these refugees will be in Malaysia for next 50 years. If UNHCR doesn't change their resettlement program about their resettlement program and their policies. So they will be with us for more than 50 years. So we need to know about them. We need to live with them. I think this is the answers why we need to know about them.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe you can explain more about Arakan and Burma too, please.
Yes. The topic for today is Rohingyas, the Kingmaker of Arakan and Burma. So we can understand about the words. There are 4 words: the Kingmaker, but Rohingyas, Arakan, and Burma look unfamiliar for us. So I think I need to explain it. First of all, I will talk about a little bit about Burma. And secondly, I will talk about Arakan. Even though you asked for the Arakan, to know Arakan, we need to know about the Burma first. Burma is a country and Arakan is a state. So first we need to know about the country, and then I will talk about Arakan. Okay, is that okay?
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you. It's okay now? Okay, Burma is historical name of Myanmar. It's changed its name to Myanmar in 1989. So before 1989, the name of Myanmar was Burma during the British eras and Japanese and so on. It is situated in Southeast Asia and border to Thailand, Laos, China, Bangladesh, and India. So it has so many borders. So it has a population of 54 millions, and most of the Muslim and Rohingyas were not included in it 2014 census. That means they have more than 54 billion population. Myanmar officially put Muslim population at 4%, but it estimated that there are more than 10% of Muslim in the whole Myanmar, and in Arakan, Muslim population is estimated that 35%. So it is important for us. Why?
At 1989 or
In 2014.
2014? Okay.
2014, National Census of Myanmar 2014, according to the National Census of Myanmar 2014. Myanmar is an ASEAN country, and it has 14 states like Malaysia, and also it has administrative city called Naypyidaw, which was developed by a Malaysian company like Putrajaya. They also had a new administrative city. So Myanmar got independent in 1948 from British after ruling more than 124 years, from 1824 to 1948. After independence, it was ruled by the military junta from 1962 to 2001. So when Myanmar got independent, and it was fall under the military junta, that means Myanmar doesn't get real independent. Okay, from 2001 to 1st February 2000, Myanmar got partial democracy, but 25% of military personnel were in the parliament with the election, and some of the key ministries were under army control during that time. Military is now back in power again after 10 years. It seized power on 1st February 2021 and arrested the president of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, the lady, and then others, parliament members and ministers. So Myanmar is not a democratic country anymore. Myanmar was not a democratic country, but it was partial democracy in Myanmar there for 10 years. But it's again come back to military dictatorship. So military dictatorship means more violence, more persecution against the people of Myanmar. So I think this is for Myanmar, and I will talk about a little bit about Arakan so that we can know. As you can see on the map, Arakan is the green color one on the screen. You may see the green color one is Arakan. Before modern Arakan, it was bigger than that. Now it's that much. Only the green part, the green part is Arakan. Arakan is now known as Rakhine State. The name of the Arakan was changed because Arakan has so many history about the Muslim. They want to destroy all the history of the Muslim, so they changed the name. Arakan is a historical name, and it is one of the states in Myanmar, and it has 17 townships. Nearly 15 townships have Muslim population, and Muslim in Arakan are known as Rohingya, Khaman, and Rakhine Muslim. Not only Rohingyas Muslim are living in Arakan. There are some other Muslim. Their name are Khaman and Rakhine Muslim also living in Arakan. Khaman is listed as ethnic of Myanmar, and they were very few, smaller than a Rohingya population. That's why we don't know about them. And also some Hindus and Christians consider themselves as Rohingya. Rohingyas Before this, Rohingyas were only Muslim, but now we have some Hindus and also some Christian Rohingya. And more than 10 ethnic groups are there in Arakan, namely Rakhine, Rohingya, Kaman, Mro, Khmer, Dina. Dina is a name of their ethnic name in Myanmar is Dina, but they were known as Shakma in Bangladesh. And Maramangi, they were known as Barua in Bangladesh, and Shin and Burma is the people of Myanmar, and etc. And Arakan is border to Bangladesh, India, and some of the state of Myanmar, and it is home to Buddhists, Muslim, Hindus, Christian, and others. So this is a little info about Arakan. Arakan was the name of today Rakhine. In the history, it was changed to Arakan so that they can abolish or they can destroy the history of Arakan and the presence of Muslim in the history.
Do you have any information since when they changed the name from Arakan to Rakhine State? What year?
Yeah, it was recently they changed. I don't know exactly, but I think it was after independent of Burma, maybe 30 years before, I think so.
Formally, there are no more Arakan names of Arakan, no more.
No, now the people of Burma and the people of Myanmar, the people of Rakhine, they still use the name Arakan, but Myanmar put officially as Rakhine State.
Okay.
Yes, so that they can say that state belong to Rakhine. Rakhine is the name of the Buddhist population there, the majority of the Arakan state.
Okay.
The name Arakan is associated with the history of Rohingya. That's why they changed. Okay. The name is as Rakhine state, so people think that state belong to Rakhine only, not to the.
Can you elaborate more specific? Who is Rohingya?
Yes. Yeah, Rohingya. There are two major population in Arakan state. So the first one is Rakhine, the Buddhist, and the second largest community in Arakan is Rohingya, the Rohingya Muslim.
So I'm sorry. So are there Rohingya Buddhists?
We don't have Buddhist Rohingya. We have Hindu Rohingya and Christian Rohingya, because the Buddhists there, they are first-class citizen there. Myanmar made Rohingya as second-class citizen so that they can create communal violence and they can rule that Arakan state with their policy. So I will elaborate a little bit about the Rohingyas. You will have a better understanding about them. Rohingyas people are a Muslim ethnic minority group in Myanmar. They make up the vast majority of Myanmar Muslim population, with the majority living in Arakan. They speak Rohingya language, which is different from Myanmar official language and other ethnic dialects. Some Kaman, Mro, Khmer, Dina, Maramagi, and Hindu also speak Rohingya language. Rohingya language is rooted from Sanskrit, which several Asian language based on, and most of the historical stone scripture found in Arakan was written in Rohingya language. So in the past, in Arakan Kingdom, they use Rohingya language, not today Arakan language. Today Arakan language was recently developed. In the history, there was no Arakan language there. So their population, Rohingyas are the second largest ethnic group in Arakan, with an estimated population of over 600,000 people. There are more than 3 million Rohingyas around the world. The biggest number of Rohingyas are living in Bangladesh, not in Myanmar. So the biggest number of Rohingyas are in Bangladesh now, because they fled to Bangladesh because of the prostitution, which amount to more. The biggest number of Rohingyas is living in Bangladesh, which amount to more than 1.4 million.
1.4 million.
600 million in Rakhine State, Bangladesh now. We have only 600,000. And another 500,000 in Pakistan, and 200,000 in Malaysia, and small numbers scattered in UAE, India, United States, Thailand, Australia, China, Indonesia, Japan, Nepal, Canada. So that is population 3 million, around 3 million Rohingya people. That's, the biggest number is in Bangladesh, around 1.4 million. And the second largest number is in Myanmar, 600,000. This is a little info about Rohingyas. I think you will have kind of understanding about the Rohingya. I will not go about go into the history, because about the history you can find it online, but there are so many information there. I want to tell about the common sense.
Okay, thank you.
Which you cannot get it online. You can get it from.
Okay, some people said Rohingya and the Chittagong or Bangladesh, they are same ethnic or same with a same language or same from the same race. So what's your comment?
Yeah, actually, this is a good point you made. It's a very common misunderstanding about Rohingyas by other people around the world. So if you study about them, you will know, but I would like to tell you a little bit about why Rohingya look different from these Myanmar people, and why they look the same with these Chittagonian Bangladeshi people, and they speak the same language with them. Okay, first one is that previously Arakan was an independent country with its own kingdom. So that Arakan was not part of the Myanmar previously. The independent kingdom were the Nyawadi, Waitali, Lemru, Mau, which is also known as Moroccan. So there were more than 4 Rohingyas kingdom, 4 dynasties there. So that meant Rohingya was an independent country for a long period of time in the history. So Mau controlled half of today Bangladesh in the history. The Mau kingdom, the last kingdom of Arakan, controlled or occupied half of the today Bangladesh. So how the Bangladesh was with Arakan in the history. And Myanmar, Arakan and Myanmar is a different country. Arakan was border with today Bangladesh. That's mean in the history is border with India. Not they don't have any relationship with Myanmar, but Myanmar come to Arakan to attack this Arakan and to take their resources. So Myanmar and Arakan was a different country in the past. These Arakanese people first received the message of Islam from the shipwreck Arab in 788 AD. So before this, the Arakanese people were Hindus and Buddhists and other religions. They believe in other religions. But after in 1788, with the help of Arabian, they do trading with China and other country. They come with the ship, smaller ship, not bigger ship like today's. So these ships were often due to because of the strong Chittagong in the history. So such shipwreck were occurred over and over in the coast of Arakan and Chittagong. During Waitali reign, the Arakanese practiced Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam. In the history, Myanmar frequently attacked Arakan for its resources. When Myanmar attacked, the one who had Arakan was India. In 1440, after nearly 3 decades in exile in the Bengal royal city of Gor, returned to Arakan. Minsomon was the last, not the last, the king who established Mrao kingdom in Arakan. Okay, returned to Arakan together with formidable force, largely made up of Afghan adventurers. Okay, this when Burma attacked this king of Arakan, flee to India and get help from the India king. That time was India was ruling by the Mughal Empire. Is ruling by the Muslim king. So this Muslim king have the king of Arakan and send Muslim troop to help this Arakan king to get their kingdom back. Okay, Mrao kings adopted Muslim title, appear in Persian-inspired dress, minted coin and medallion inscribing Kalima, Islamic declaration of faith in Persian and Arabic scripture. When they asked for the help from the king of India that time, they have to make an agreement with Islamic kind of things in the palace. So they adopted the name Muslim name. The Buddhist king adopted the Muslim name. It was the it was Bengal King Sultan Jalaluddin forced to restore his throne in Arakan. Muslim troops were resettled down in Arakan by the king for their protection. They were given higher ranks in the palace. More than 20,000 Rohingya troops were resettled down in Arakan. This Muslim troop made interfaith marriages and spread the message of Islam and started the growth of Muslim population in Arakan. The descendants of these Muslim troops mixed with local rebutted Muslim of Arakan had a different physical appearance. There were 20,000 Muslim troops sent. So Arakan king resettled this Muslim troop in Arakan for their protection, and they were given higher ranks. Later, this Muslim troop start spreading their belief, which is in one God, and people start accepting Islam, and the growth of Muslim population started in that time. So because of these Muslim troops and local Arakan is mixed and interfaith marriages, their descendants looks different, most likely to Indian look, not today Arakanese look or Burmese look. That's why these Muslim people called Rohingyas look different from these Myanmar people and people. I think this is some point for the answer, and I think I hope you understand about it. Why they look
Yes,
different.
yes. What we should know in the history, Arakan state is a own state, not
Yeah.
belongs to Burma or Myanmar. And in history too,
Yes.
Bangladesh before it exists as Bangladesh, so there are Arakan state too.
Yes.
Okay.
Bangladesh. Bangladesh come to the history recently. Before this, it was known as only India. Under British rule, from Myanmar to the whole India was known as India only. Myanmar was just a province of India then. So the whole Bangladesh, Arakan, Myanmar, and India's Pakistan, and all were one country there in there.
So hopefully our audience can understand that if they can understand the Rohingya or Arakan state is a time bomb left by the British.
Yeah. I think that,
But
yes.
never mind, we don't touch it
Before the
to
British
detail.
occupation,
We will discuss about this with at another session, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Before I want to read about this. Before occupation of British, Arakan, Burma, and India were different countries. After occupation of British, these countries become one country. Arakan, Myanmar, and India become one country under British.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the key point we need to know.
Yes, yes. So maybe you can share with us why Rohingya crisis.
Actually, Rohingya crisis is a political agenda of Myanmar. How to control this occupied Arakan state and how to get benefit from this Arakan land they occupied. Okay, I would like to talk a bit when Burma occupied the Arakan for the last time. In the from this, we need to know why Rohingya crisis happened. Before why Rohingya crisis, we need to know something about when Arakan become a part of Myanmar. Before start with Burmese occupation of Arakan. So I will talk about when was the last time Burmese occupied Arakan. Burmese king Bodofaya of Kumbang dynasty invaded Arakan and deposed the last king of Arakan Miao Kingdom, Tamada, in 1785. Burma occupied Arakan in 1785. In 1799, more than 35,000 people fled from Arakan to nearby Chittagong region of British Bengal, fleeing Burmese oppression and seeking protection from the Great British. So when the Burmese occupied Arakan, they do mass killing and arrest of the people to control the country. So people from Arakan state, they flee to nearby today Bangladesh and flee to the Chittagong region, right? That time it was ruling by the British. The Burmese executed thousands of soldiers, expelled a significant portion of population in central Burma, and when the British occupied Arakan, Arakan is left an almost inhabited area. Because of the cruelty of these Burmese people, to control this Arakan, they kill most of the soldiers of the Arakan, and they drive out most of the people to the Chittagong, and also they arrest some of the people from Arakan and send it to central Burma, so that they can depopulate the people, the population of Arakan, and for them to make easy for them to rule Arakan. More than 35,000 people were driven to Chittagong that time. To control Arakan, Burmese invader used divide and rule policy of British. Under that policy, citizenship of Rohingya were stripped out. They were made stateless and second-class citizens by putting various restrictions on freedom of movement, education, employment, healthcare, and so on. Various military operations and crackdowns were conducted against Rohingyas, and some of them are 1942 Rohingya massacre in 1942, Operation Shuechi in 1959. These are the list of the military operation conducted by the Burmese people against the Rohingya Muslim. Another operation was the Operation Chigang. Chigang is known as the Crow in English, or in the Crow Operation Crow in 1966. Operation Ngazinka. Ngazinka means soldiers or conqueror. And Myanmar between 1967 and 1971. Another operation named Sabe means jasmine flower, conducted in 1973 by the military, Myanmar military. Operation Nagamin. Nagamin operation was very big operation. Another thing is that they made 1982 citizenship law in 1982. That citizen law was the most discriminatory citizenship law on the earth to persecute the Rohingya people. Another last operation they had was Operation Pitaya. Pitaya means a beautiful country in 1991. And lastly, they made Rohingya genocide in 2017. So there are more than 7 military operations conducted by the Myanmar military to whip up or to driven these Rohingya people from the land of Arakan from time to time after the British, after they got independent from the British. In 1942, there was a big Rohingya massacre or mass killing of Rohingya in 1942. More than 100,000 of Rohingya were killed by the Buddhist Arakan. Some fled to Bangladesh, and during Operation Dragon King in 1978, approximately 250,000 Rohingya fled to Bangladesh because of the military operation. Later on, 31 July 1978, the government of Burma and Bangladesh made an agreement regarding the repatriation of Rohingya refugees, and some 180,000 Rohingya returned to Bangladesh, returned to Myanmar, or returned to Arakan from Bangladesh. But some of the people, they didn't come back to Myanmar. They stayed in Bangladesh, and more than 10,000 people in Bangladesh camp were died because Bangladesh people and the international community cut down the ration there. They didn't, because they didn't go back to Myanmar. They stayed in the camp, so they didn't get enough food, and nearly 10,000 just die in the camp. Of 1988 Burma uprising, 250,000 Rohingya fled to Bangladesh again because of the military operation to escape from forced labor, forced relocation, rape, execution, and torture. In 1995, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, reported repatriation of over 200,000 Rohingya refugees, and by November of 1995, 95,000 had gone back to Bangladesh because of the continuous military operation. UNHCR bring back these refugees from Bangladesh to Myanmar, but half of them fled again to Bangladesh because of the
1995.
Yeah, in 1995. There were more than 2.5 million Rohingya fled to Bangladesh, but only few come back to Myanmar. Since August 2017, around 800,000 Rohingya people from Arakan have fled to Bangladesh to escape from the genocide by Myanmar government. They joined another 300,000 people who had previously escaped execution and already in Bangladesh. Now, more than 1.4 million Rohingya refugees are living in Bangladesh. A repatriation deal to return the Rohingya to Myanmar from Bangladesh was announced in November 2017, but the repatriation have been delayed till now for various reasons. No people return yet. Now in Bangladesh, we are having 1.4 million Rohingya people. That is the crisis of the Rohingya people, and military operation conducted against the Muslim to drive out this Muslim from Arakan. And now we need to find out, or we need to understand why they made this Rohingya crisis. We have to know why they make it, why they prosecute these Muslim people, because there were some Rohingya king in Arakan and some non-Muslim king also adopted Muslim names. That means Muslim influence were there in the palace, and even some Sharia law were applied. So before this, we had Rohingya kings and Rohingyas influence in the kingdom. Okay, Rohingyas were rulers, administrators, and kingmaker in Arakan for more than 350 years. During World War II in Burma, Japanese force invaded Burma that was under British colonial rule. The Japanese force slaughtered, raped, and tortured Rohingya Muslim and others. So to get rid of this oppression from these Japanese forces, Rohingya Muslim allied with the British and fought against Japanese. And the Rakhine Buddhists who were allied with the Japanese, because there were some groups who are pro-Japanese and there are some groups who are pro-British. That time, Arakan and Myanmar was under British rule, but Myanmar, the Aung San of Myanmar bring Japanese to get independence from the British. So this Japan fought with British, but the British ruled the country in a good way. And these Japanese are very cruel. They kill people, they rape ladies, they do kind of torturing and oppressions. And because of that, some Muslim fought back against them, against these Japanese and against the people of Rakhine who were allied with Japan. Because of this fight back resistance, 100,000 of Rohingyas were killed across the Arakan and 1,000 fled to Bangladesh. Following Myanmar independence in 1948, that was in 1942, they fight with Japan. After that, in 1948, they got independence. So following Myanmar independence in 1948, the country newly established union government denied the Rohingya citizenship to prevent them from voting and being elected. And gradually, they start targeting them to systematic discrimination. And more than 7 major military operations were implemented to drive out Rohingyas, especially from Muslim majority areas, so that they can eliminate Muslim influence in the country. They don't want Muslim influence in the country. So they plan to drive out these Muslim people to Bangladesh. Before they get the independence also, they excluded part of the Myanmar because that part are having bigger Muslim population. They don't want bigger Muslim population in Myanmar. That's why they excluded from Myanmar and give it to Bangladesh.
They excluded the people or the territory.
They cannot only drive out the people. So they give up all the territory also.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but half of the Bangladesh, today Bangladesh was under Arakan. So when Myanmar took back, so this part also become part of Myanmar. So
Okay.
after that, the British occupied this Myanmar and Arakan. And finally, when they are getting independence from the British, so British asked them, what is your territory? Till which area you want it? So they excluded this Muslim majority area so that they can control, so that they can dilute the influence, Muslim influence or Muslim population. To control Arakan, to keep Arakan on the Burma, and to continuously benefit from various natural resources, Burma invaders use divide and rule policy. This policy is very popular. This was used by the British government in Malaysia and most of the British colonial area. Under that policy, citizenship of Rohingya were stripped out and made them inferior to Rakhine people. Various Rohingya crises and communal violence were created to drive out Rohingya from their land, to make them stateless, and to eradicate cooperation between the two bigger populations of Arakan, that's Rakhine and Rohingya. Because Burmese invaders know if these two people get together and fight back Burmese army, they cannot keep their prison in Arakan. That's why they use divide and rule policy. They make one inferior, Muslim inferior, and one superior, or they divide among them. Because if they get together and fight by this Burmese army, they cannot control Arakan anymore.
What we happen, or what happened to the Rohingyas who stay outside of Arakan or stay at another part in Myanmar or in Burma? What happened to them? Rohingyas who not stay in the Arakan.
When they occupied Burma occupied Myanmar in 1785, they used one policy or one strategy to control this Arakan, because that time Arakan was very strong. They are having own military force. So they kill the soldiers or the military there, and they drive out people to Chittagong, today Bangladesh, and also they arrested people and took or bring these people to central part of the Burma, which is far from Arakan. Arakan is separated with the higher mountain, which was called Rakhine. Is very difficult to pass. So at that time, it's not easy to come by road or by boat. So these people were sent to central Burma, and some people were driven out to Bangladesh, so that the Arakan become very weak with few people. Then they start controlling the Burma. So I want to highlight that some people were sent to central Burma, were Muslim and were also Rohingyas, and also the people flee to Chittagong were also this Rohingya. So they never come back to Arakan, because continuous military operation and oppression is going on till now from their occupation until now. Is persecution is going on. That's why these people didn't come back. So that being, some Rohingyas were still staying in Chittagong, Bangladesh, and some were staying in central part of the Myanmar. In central part of the Myanmar, these people, they hide their identity. If they
have
show their
ID, their own ID.
They have their own ID, but they hide their identity as Rohingyas. They just say Burmese Muslim.
Oh, okay.
Or command, or so on, or some of the public.
Understand.
Because if the government know that they were Rohingya, they will be arrested or sent to the prison, or prostitution will be carried out. That's why they had their identity. For me, from my mother's side, they have 10 siblings, but only my mom was staying in Arakan. Other 9 were staying in other part of the Myanmar, is like staying in Yangon. When I speak to them, they speak in Myanmar language, not in Rohingya language. But
So,
when they were at home, they
so legally,
speak in Rohingya language.
legally, Rohingya is not not authorized as a citizen for Myanmar.
Yes, they made a special citizenship law in 1982 to strip out the citizenship of these Rohingya people. Before this, these Rohingya people were in the parliament, they served as ministers, and they were in the government servant. For example, my father,
how they implement? Sorry to interrupt. How they implement or how they manipulate the system to make sure that Rohingyas or just to clarify, this is a Rohingya. How do they manipulate the system or they implement the system?
Yeah, it's easy because most of the Rohingyas are living in Arakan.
Okay.
Okay, it's like 35% of the Muslim population is staying in Arakan. So when they go to Arakan, whether you are a Rohingya or not, you will have you need to answer various questions, or you need to go through various what do you call examination section.
Okay.
First, they carry out so many military operation from time to time to make these Rohingya people stateless. First, they driven out these people to Bangladesh. When they reach to the Bangladesh, their identities and their proof of prison in Arakan were destroyed. So when they come back again to Bangladesh, they name as newcomer to Myanmar. But these people are the original of Arakan state. They just gave a piece of paper as a newcomer to Myanmar. All of their identities were destroyed and no identity card were given, or even though they have identity card, it was confiscated during the operation. Later, they don't have any identity card and so on. They say these people doesn't belong to Arakan. They made it step by step. There were no parliament in Myanmar. You know, in the history, they have parliament in Myanmar. There were no parliament in Myanmar with the Rohingyas till 2015. There have been 34 Rohingyas member of parliament in Myanmar from 1936 till 2015. And 2 of them were women and one had been a minister. Rohingya participated in 2010 nationwide election in Myanmar, and 3 Rohingya served in parliament till 2015. After 2015, they make another law. In 1982, they make a citizenship law to make these Rohingyas stateless. And in 2015, they make another law so that they can prevent Muslim or Rohingya people from voting or being elected. So they make it step by step, gradually. First, they conducted so many operations to drip out, and then they make the citizenship law to make them stateless, and they make another law to prevent them from parliament.
The law keep changing just to make sure or to deny the
Yes,
citizenship
yes.
for Rohingya.
Yeah, to persecute these Rohingya people because if they are the citizen of Myanmar and they can vote, it is you can say automatically this some people from Rohingya areas were elected at Rohingya MP because in some areas Muslim were the majority. In these areas, even though they were majority, Burmese party, they are both in Rakhine area and also Rakhine parties. When the Burmese and the Rakhine contest, the vote was split. So
Yes.
only few vote like
Yeah, I
that.
can understand.
Yeah.
You mean that Rohingya can send their representative to the parliament if they are allowed
Yeah,
to vote? Yes.
it's automatic.
Yes.
If you are given the right to vote, automatically Rohingya MPs will be in the parliament for sure.
Yes. Okay. We can
Yeah,
understand.
in the democratic system in the past, at least 2 to 3 Rohingya MP were in the parliament, and the rest Buddhists don't want Rohingya MP in the parliament. Even though Rohingyas MPs were small in number, the other political need to negotiate with them to get majority seat to form state government, because in Buddhist majority areas, Rakhine and Burma political parties contest vote are split to 2 to 3 parties. Therefore, they need to deal with a Rohingya MP, and they don't want it. That's why they created another law to prevent these Rohingya people, and they start making Rohingya crisis to drive out these Rohingya people. And also they start making a model village in Rohingyas area now. They force Rohingya people to flee from Arakan. When they fled to Bangladesh, this government built model village for the Rakhine people and so on, so that they can balance Muslim presence in that area, because in that area, Mongdao and Butidao, these Muslim are majority. So they created balance and drove out this Muslim to Bangladesh. Now only few Rohingyas are in that area, and they send some Buddhists from other part of the Myanmar and give them free land, confiscate the land of the Rohingyas and give them free. So most of the people are happy
So they replace with
to go to
people from the other place.
this area. Yes. So another thing is to understand about the Muslim crisis. There are another few points. Here is Chowphu Kunming China oil and gas pipeline and the and Belt and Road Initiative of China. In Arakan, Chowphu is a township. It's a very famous for its gas and oil. Okay, if you see in the screen, you will see is the operation is called China Trans Myanmar Oil and Gas Pipeline. There is 2 pipeline crossing Myanmar.
Maybe you can enlarge the image.
From the Arakan to China. Okay. So it is bigger now.
It's okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, okay, yes, better.
Yes. So if you see, there are a red line crossing Myanmar. Actually,
Okay.
it's not on one line, it's 2 lines. that is called Chokyu Kuming China Oil and Gas Pipeline. If you see the writing there in the picture, pipeline will bring 12 million ton of crude oil and 12 billion cubic meter of gas a year into China. So this is a lot. So this is another one reason why Rohingya crisis happened again, happening in Arakan, because from this project, this military junta, the army of Myanmar, they want all the benefit. They don't want to share it with the Arakanese people. They want all this benefit for their own, to buy weapons and so on. If the people in Arakan are living peacefully, or they are cooperating together, these Rohingyas and Rakhine people cooperating together, they will ask this question to Burmese people, or they will ask this question to Burmese army. You are getting benefit from our own land and you are not sharing any benefit with us. For your information, Arakan is the poorest state in Myanmar. Myanmar is one of the poorest country in Southeast Asia. And in Myanmar, Arakan is the poorest state in Myanmar. So you can imagine how difficult life will be there. And still they are having many resources benefiting military's government. They don't want to share any benefit to these Arakanese people. So they create communal violence. These two people keep fighting, and they don't have time, or they were busy with fighting. They don't have time to look at this operation of military. Thing is that you can see the Belt and Road Initiative. They call is BRI. This BRI is I think more than 140 countries were connected. So for this road, Arakan is very important for China. They made a deep sea port in Chokru, and also they made some kind of business or economic zone, so that they can deal their businesses. So they need land for this, to make this business zone. So they want to confiscate the land of Rohingya without giving any compensation. They created conflict in that area and drove up these Rohingya people, and they take back the land of the Rohingya without paying any compensation. Now on that land, China is implementing various mega projects, and also in Mongdo and Butidong, China is implementing various mega projects on the land of Rohingya. So that was their policy. First, they create communal violence and drive out these Rohingya people, and later are conducting a mega project.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is another reason why this crisis happened in
Yes.
in Arakan. So you can see the map here is the one with red color are the countries connected with Belt and Road Initiative of China.
Okay.
There are 140 countries. There is another picture here. This picture is showing two lines. One is red and another one is in black. So the one with red is the Belt and Road Corridor between China and Myanmar. China want to go to Bangladesh and India through Myanmar, so they need to cross this Arakan state.
Okay.
So they need to make their route. Yeah, here is the port they are making in Chakpru. They need an industrial park and a deep sea port on 1,737 hectare of land. It is very big land. So they want it, but they don't want to pay anything. So they created.
Okay, Mr.
The
Fayaz.
Yeah.
Now we are at 10:40, so we are going to the end our program. Anyway, inshallah, we will continue with another session. Talk about Rohingya, and hopefully, our friends, our audience, can understand what we means Kingmaker when Mr. Fayaz share with us that how important and that Rohingya must be one of the decision maker in the Myanmar. So now we are at the Q&A session, but I'm sorry, I cannot read the question from my. Okay. Never mind. If we have our questions, so we bring to another session. So, Mr. Fayaz, thank you very much for giving such informative and interesting tonight. Hopefully, our program tonight will be beneficial for everybody. Oh, okay. So, as a moderator for this program, beg your pardon of mistaken and also technical problems. Mr. Fayaz are not with us now. So we can close now. Mr. Taufik. And thank you very much to the crew and Ustaz Abu Bakar Siddiq as an organizer for tonight's program, and to everybody who's joined us for our program tonight. So see you with at another session, inshallah. Allahu alam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Haluan peneraju perubahan, bina masyarakat berakhlak